off the back of that last one, I am a British person that is willing to aid, help where I can, if I can be practical of use. And I have been just, recovering from some weird stuff. But basically, my brother has a business degree and accountancy degree, and I have a business brand. The business brand, it is kind of like a game changer for many people at street level. When we have people concerned about people in tents and lifestyle choices, maybe it is a lifestyle choice for some people because they've snapped and lost the plot. Because I was a hair's breadth away from that personally. It's like if I didn't have a family living close by to take me back after rent was stopped and my housing felt compromised. It's just, it is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is. People in that are in crisis, but they probably don't want to be on the street in the winter. And I have come up with this design decade ago, and it was about linking up all the existing homeless charities and just being a set of wheels that could give people a washroom to wash in and then go to those places and then be transported. And then it come up, it said, oh, it works with the big issue, doesn't it? Works with the big issue. Yeah, because they've got the spare rooms and the sofa scheme. So those people on a database list that engineers could strictly speaking be like a cab service to them, couldn't they? And then they could at least like record it professionally and aid in that, circulating people into a house for a set amount of time and be in contact with other people that are willing to actually do that. And because they'll get their name, photos and everything, it's got to be legit, and they wouldn't really want to commit crimes because, that wouldn't be in their interest. It's people generally that want to get up and get off. And so it works on that level. And then I said, well, in a way, it's sort of like when I was a sky engineer, you used to have access to all these like lockups, and you used to get your dishes, and you used to get your screws, and you used to get things. And it's like, in theory, couldn't you have sort of like a medical bit of that? Sort of like just like alternative healthcare, just like anti-inflammatories and things like that, and different things, and just practical little things, and just make a person feel really like just like a staple in the community, not for just that. And then it's like if people come to you with the concern because the NHS has failed them on one level and they're a write-off, then could you come to them possibly and make a documentary and document it and make broadcast quality content for a platform, sell to other ones, and potentially document it and have like an award every 3 years and say, oh, this engineer helped them, I suppose, amount of people. Help them. Look at this case where this person had this, and then we employed these experts that we've got on the database. We've got a database of surgeons as well, so we might be interested in certain cases that we can help, and we can help, and it's potentially like a global brand. I mean, it can't solve everything. You can't solve everything. People, but it will be a viable link for those people that just literally just want to get up and out, or those that sort of say, I'm really concerned about this that's happening at the moment. It's like when you get fouled by a NHS system, you go, oh, it's Bupa, and that's people that are already in a cushy position to pay for that insurance. And then you go, those people that are at the bottom rung, are they really, really getting the best treatment? And then you go, well, some people blatantly have been failed by the NHS, and you only have to live about 10 years of your life before you hear so many gross misnegligence cases and people waiting 3 days for a call-out nurse in their 90s and then getting rushed to A&E once they've collapsed without their antibiotics or something that could have just saved their life, or the amount of cases across the land like that, or this or this and this. And there are some that still fall by the wayside, and a street brand that can just be like for that, because there are plenty of like elderly people that haven't got a clue the change in pace of all the internet and everything else. It's literally gone like a hyper reality for those poor elderly and shit. And you go, my mum doesn't even have a clue how to get a repeat prescription, and she had a case where she had eye shingles and didn't get the right medication for 10 days. She had a compensation case, but because she has a certain addiction, a habit that most British people have, she's just like, what is it? It was a fat splash. Yeah, but mum, it was freaking eye shingles. You were burnt from the inside out. You had a head injury, like a scabbing behind your eye, and your face looked like Freddy Krueger for a bit. Can you remember that? And it was just a little fat splash. It was an autoimmune response. So you went to A&E and they didn't diagnose it. They just gave you penicillin, and then it was like 10 days later she got the right med for it because she went to an eye hospital in Chelsea. And so you go, all right, that's the case of that. I mean, that, what am I trying? I digress, but the point is that's just one of billions of cases. But she wouldn't have a clue to get her own repeat prescription of these amitriptyline. She's like, she wouldn't have a clue how to get that or this or this. It's like some people just go by the wayside. And that's a lot of people, believe it or not. So disempowered, marginalised, and truly, genuinely fucked. And so you go, oh, Laura, do you seem a bit, you've talked about this for a decade. You run around to all the charities. I went to Crisis. I went to Streetwise Opera. I went to St Mungo's. No, I didn't go to St Mungo's. I went to Streetwise Opera, Crisis. Yeah. I told them all about it. I said, yeah, it's a viable street uplink with just a washroom and a practical kit to give out. So if someone's humming, because let's be honest, practicality is like someone's stinking. They've got St Martin's in the fields and you've got a shower and a washroom place. And there's certain people that know about that. So you would never have to hum, and you could get, deodorant and sanitary products if you were homeless. And there's like some people that know about it, some people that don't. But then if you had a street link, you'd be like, well, I can take you to somewhere where you can be in a community choir, just try and raise your spirit, and you can have a meal with each other. And then you can go to this other place where we will teach you how to gain your confidence back, called Crisis, where you can have tea and biscuits and you can feel warm for another hour if you like and feel in a community. And then you can go to this place, Streetwise Opera, that also provides opportunities to, build again. And in theory, if the big issue was in that, you could have a place to sleep more often than not. Rather than people having to beg on the street for that shelter, there's people that are willing to provide it for free. And then once you've got that, you can use them as a fixed abode. I'm sure the government could arrange that. And once that's arranged, maybe we can get you passports, and we can be a bit more proactive about your total recovery into the community as a viable, strong individual. And you can go fruit picking, or you can get an MVQ in hospitality at certain hostels that I'm sure be happy to be affiliated with such a charity. And, it's like that, just making a network, because when you go to other boroughs in the country, they say, oh, they offer a scheme where homeless rooms in hotels during the freeze, and that's nice, isn't it? But then it's like, same hotel, would they be willing to sort of like provide one of those feel-good stories and be a little bit subsidised by such a firm? And when I say such a firm, I said you need to think outside the box, because it'll be like, it could be a franchise. It's a franchise. So you go, okay, what do you mean by that, Laura? Oh, okay, my name's David Beckham, or my name's Tyson Fury, or my name's anybody with lots of money that's just somebody that people know, or a big face. Well, you just buy into that franchise. You might not want the van sitting on your drive, but you might, because you can just switch on a broadcast quality camera, put on your kit that will come with the van, and be like, provide documentation, and be like, I've just met this case or whatever, and have a chat, if you feel that confident as a public person. But it would probably not always be about that. It'd be about providing people in the community with, a visible, highly present street presence with novelty donation point and advertising space. Think about that. So it's got that on it, not that on it. Maybe they could canvass for their own self for it. Maybe there could be electric cars. I'm sure there's enough money in the community now, after seeing so many different people. You go, there's people sending all that money up into space and hailing Elon Musk, and it's just like, for somebody that lives in London, you go, okay, all right, I've had a full-on breakdown, and I've met lots of other people that have had a breakdown at the state of the human race, and you want to send them into space. Are you working with everybody? Are you treating everybody as an equal in Lakesh yet? Are you actually down with your spiritually divine self yet, Elon? Because somebody quoted me as you the other day, and yeah, that's not cool, because somebody like me would be more proactive about Earth, and just generating a happy life support line for a lot of people, and a database of surgeons in cases things happen. I don't even like hospitals. Stand outside for 1 second and you just like, oh, what? They sent you home with a bursting appendix? Oh, like, things just happen, don't they? And you just go, why does everybody come to me and tell me all these woes? And there's other situations where I've met people at festivals that were vulnerable women in the community, and were vulnerable and had their children taken off them at a time it shouldn't have happened. They got whelped to their 18 to see them. That's just weird shit goes on in our community that I think transparency would solve.